Fellas, you have no idea how many years I've knocked off my lifespan by watching terrible animes. You could probably imagine the feeling I would have when I finally watched a great show. It felt incredible. It was like some Jesus blood to wine miracle or something. Fellas, welcome to Anime Review. Now, the anime I'm going to be talking about is a masterpiece called The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes. You have no idea how many times I needed to say that title in order to get it right. So the summary is actually pretty straightforward. In a sleepy country town, a traumatized boy and a transfer student from Tokyo stumble upon a time-bending tunnel that may grant them their every wish. Now, originally, I planned on going in-depth to every reason why I like this movie, but I decided that, you know, I want you guys to experience this movie for yourself because it really is one of my favorites out there. Especially if you're a simp for the romance genre, I hope you give it a chance. Now allow me to try and sell this movie to you. This movie molested my soul in such a good way. I know the main plot doesn't really sound all that exciting. It's like, ooh, a time-bending tunnel, ooh. But the movie actually manages to balance so many things so well. Like the plot, the romance, and the characters' backstories. It's just all thrown together and it's like a salad, bro. You can't fuck up a salad. It's just it's so perfect. If you couldn't tell, it's a little early in the Tibor household. It's fucking 7 a.m. My analogies might make no fucking sense. So without giving too much information away to you, the two main characters, Anzu Hanashiro and Karo Tuno, I think I'm 0 for 2 for that one, are both dealing with big issues in their lives. Anzu has imposter syndrome where she wants to become this great manga artist, but she feels like she's undeserving of any success and she doesn't feel like she's good enough. Whereas Tono, he comes from a broken home where he lovingly gets slapped around by his father every night. As you do. Some of the problems that these characters have with like their own personal lives and everything around them is actually explored pretty in-depth in the movie. You wouldn't really expect that from a movie that has such a short runtime at only an hour and 20 minutes, but it's done in such a good way that it just feels like the movie is longer, you know? But in a good way though. But I thought the balance of everything being explored, especially the character's backstory, was amazing. And honestly, since I'm used to watching trash, the thought of characters having more depth than a kiddie pool honestly almost gave me an aneurysm, man. Like, I just wasn't expecting it. But let me tell you, it was just so refreshing. And it was like, oh, it just feels so good, man. Now, the romance portion of this movie is something that's kind of, it's like a sideshow, you know? It's not something that is the main focus of the movie, but it still is, like, higher than top tier, in my opinion, in my humble anime degenerate opinion. Now, again, I don't want to give anything away because I really think you guys should experience it for yourself, but when they started banging on screen, man, no, I'm kidding. The way the movie tiptoes around their romance is awesome. It's not like, they don't jump into it head first. Like, obviously, it hits some of your typical romance anime tropes where, like, they go to the aquarium, they go to the summer festival, and all those things in between. But the tropes don't feel cheap. They don't feel, like, out of place or anything like that. And most importantly, the tropes don't get in the way of the story. You know, you really start to notice as you watch the movie, I think the tropes were just there for the movie to just flex its artistic muscles. Like, those scenes are fucking gorgeous. And I think it just works so well with the movie because, again, it's not, the romance isn't the main focus of the movie. It's a healthy sideshow. Because as an experienced veteran of the anime tropes in romance, I feel like I've seen it all when it comes to that. So it was kind of refreshing from my perspective to see someone not dive into the trope head first and actually just keep going with it and kind of drag it out and everything. It felt nice, short, concise. It was good. It was good all around. Now, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this twice by now, but the best part about the romance in this movie, for me, is that it's a sideshow. The movie doesn't entirely depend on the two characters' romance. Like, for example, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. The anime I hate with every cell in my body. Not as much as Rent-a-Girlfriend. I still hate it though. That show is entirely dependent on its romance. There is no fucking plot. So the relationship between the two characters, the main characters, is the only reason people watch that shit. Or even a show that isn't as absolute shit as Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Like Darling in the Franxx, for example. That show is entirely dependent on its romance. Like, as much as I like watching big robots fight fucking aliens to the death, it's not the reason I'm there, man. I'm there to see Hiro and Zero Two get together. But in the case of The Tunnel of Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes, I'm praying I said that right. The romance doesn't carry it at all. It's a subtle undertone and you're not expecting it. And you know, you don't really realize how much the characters have developed over the course of the movie. And that just, it just makes it so good. Which honestly surprised me because you wouldn't think that a plot about a fucking tunnel would be able to carry a movie so hard, but it does. It carries so goddamn hard, it's like fucking bench pressing your grandma. fucking told you the analogies would be wild in this video. It's just such an interesting concept, and it really fires on all cylinders. I love it. And you can really see it throughout the movie too. The tunnel really consumes the main character's just being, because the two of them have to kind of balance the desire and the cost of the tunnel, because it might grant any wish that they have, but let me tell you, that tunnel has a fat fucking catch, a morbidly obese catch, that I'm honestly not sure if is a spoiler or not, so I'm just gonna play it safe. The bottom line is, for an entire movie being about a tunnel, it's fucking good. It's good, okay? Words just can't describe it. So the other thing I want to mention is the look of this movie. I think I've probably, again, like most things in this video, I've already mentioned it through other points, but this movie looks like a goddamn Bob Ross painting. It's fucking gorgeous. I love it. And not even just the look of the movie, but the art direction itself. Like, throughout the movie, the colors shift from like a super neutral gray, and then they become this super vibrant, colorful world. I just love the look of this movie, and it's so nice to just, you know, appreciate. You really sit back and look at your computer monitor, and you just go, wow. You know, it's one of those types of animes. I even like the subtle shit in this movie. Like, there's a cutaway that the movie constantly uses, where there's these airplanes in the sky, and they use these airplanes as like a symbol for the characters' bond between each other. It's crazy. I love that stuff so much, man. It gave me that really great pit feeling you get after you watch a great show, and reasons like this are why I love the genre and the means so much. I will say, in my ancient old age, I've kind of become pickier and snobbier with the anime I pick to watch. I mean, I'm kind of like a wine connoisseur, but just for anime. But this movie was so great that I would totally watch it again, hands down. I would even take it over Your Name. And that's mostly because I wasn't even exactly sure how this movie was gonna end, which was nice, because you can normally tell. Like, I feel like by a quarter through the movie, you can normally tell what's gonna happen, which, I don't know, it's not as exciting that way. So having a movie where I didn't actually know what was gonna happen exactly to the T was refreshing for me, especially in the sense that I feel like a lot of animes coming out these days, at least in the romance genre, don't give me that pit feeling anymore. I almost feel like I've watched every anime in existence that can possibly do that. But this movie is really a diamond in a rough, and I feel like not enough people talk about it and admire its greatness, at least as much as it should be. So I hope you guys give it a chance, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you later.